Hi, my name is Jack Malcolm, and I make a living by training some of the world's top salespeople, which is incredibly ironic if you consider that when I began my career, I was probably one of the world's worst salespeople. When I got out of college, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I ended up getting an MBA in finance because it allowed me to go into the banking business. And the reason I wanted to go into the banking business was that I felt that that would allow me to be the introvert that I was, not have anything to do with customers. Banking, when I got into it, was extremely regulated industry, and in fact we used to be so regulated that we had what we called the 3-6-2 rule. You paid 3% on deposits, lent it out at 6%, hit the golf course every day at 2 o'clock. I said that's perfect for me, so I got an MBA in finance, went into the banking business and started crunching numbers, and I was happy for about a couple of months. Then Congress totally deregulated the industry, and suddenly we had to compete not only with other banks but with many other financial institutions. And guys like myself were thrown out on the street and said, go out and sell. No training at all, certainly nothing that we wanted to do. And in fact, around that time, I was given one of those psychological tests, and at the end of it, I was told that I had absolutely no ability for sales at all. But I had to make a living somehow, so I went out and knocked on doors and talked to people and made probably every mistake in the book, but I gradually got a little bit better at it. Yet I never really saw selling as a science or even a craft that could be worked on and can be improved until one day, and it happened quite by accident. I got an appointment to see the CEO of a $50 million company, not because I was any good at really getting in to see people at the C-level, but because my bank was the largest in Florida at the time, and he allowed me in just because of that. Walked in, had the initial pleasantries, and then he sat down and he looked me right in the eye and says, "Tell me why I should do business with you." And I looked him straight back in the eye and I said, and without even knowing what was going to come out of my mouth next, I said, "I don't know." And I was shocked that those words came out of my mouth. He was shocked that those words came out of my mouth. And I'm scrambling trying to figure out, how did I get into this and how do I get out of it? So he says to me, "Wait a minute, you want me to bank with you, but you don't know why I should bank with you? What's up with that?" So I'm thinking real hard, and I said, "Well, sir, I have a lot of clients that are very happy with the services that we've provided to them. Some of them, I've helped them with loans to grow their business. I've helped some with cash management services to improve their cash flow. I've helped some with investments. Until I know more about you and your business, I don't know if you should bank with me. Do you mind if I ask you some questions?" And he said, "Well, that's an interesting approach. I haven't seen that one before. Go ahead, ask me some questions." And then I had to scramble a little bit and try to think of some halfway intelligent questions to ask, but I must have done okay because he said, "You know what, I'll give you a shot." And he gave me a small piece of business. That very soon turned into my largest account at the bank. And that day is when I learned the essence of selling, and that day is when an accident caused me to really start studying sales. And since then, I have now, for the last 20 years, have been training salespeople. I learned one thing that day. I learned what I call outside-in thinking. Outside-in thinking is really the pillar of everything that I sell, everything I train, and everything I've learned about selling. And outside-in thinking is quite simply that it's not about me, it's not about my product, it's not about my company. It's about you as my client or potential client, what you need, what keeps you awake at night, what excites you, and if I can understand that and I can find something that will help you get to where you want to go, then I'm going to have a successful sale. So I learned outside-in thinking by accident, but everything that I've done since that day is no accident. Everything I've learned and everything I've taught about selling is about outside-in thinking. It's made me successful, it's made my clients successful, and if you apply it, it'll make you successful.